My name is Melissa Divan. I'm an associate attorney at VA Disability Group LLC, and today I'm going to talk about the CMP examination for scars and disfigurements. First, I'll go over what to expect at the examination and general considerations. Next, I'll go over paths to service connection and the regulations that provide the ratings for these conditions. Finally, I'll review a DBQ or Disability Benefits Questionnaire to prepare you for your exam. The DBQ is the form that the examiner gets from the VA to be used in determining your rating for a condition. Some things to expect at the exam. There are multiple considerations in determining whether or not scars qualify for disability compensation. The VA examination will consider stability of the scar or disfigurement, or whether or not there is a frequent loss of the skin covering the scar, whether or not it is painful, the size and shape of the scar or disfigurement. The examiner will take measurements, the location on the body, and if the scar or disfigurement limits motion or function, and its depth, and also the number of scars present. It is important to note that the location of your scars or disfigurement impact the rating that will be assigned by the VA. Scars located on your head, face, and neck will be rated higher than those on your extremities or anterior posterior trunk. Commonly, when we think of scars or disfigurement, we are thinking about the cosmetic issues or concerns related to these conditions. But it is important to note that scars and disfigurements can also result in pain, could limit your mobility and function, and could also impact your mental health. Depending on the location, pain, and severity of the scarring, it may be possible to obtain multiple evaluations and ratings. Service connection could be granted on a direct basis for scars resulting from an in-service event or injury, like a motor vehicle accident, burns resulting from a fire or explosion. Service connection is also possible on a secondary theory if the scar is a result of or related to a service-connected condition. For instance, if during your military service you suffered an injury to your knee requiring a surgical procedure, you may qualify for additional compensation for the resulting scar. The VA rates scars in accordance with 38 CFR Section 4.118, the Schedule of Ratings for Skin, using diagnostic codes 7800 through 7805. The VA assigns ratings between 0% and 80%. Diagnostic code 7800 is specific to scars of disfigurement of the head, face, or neck. Diagnostic code 7801 is specific to scars and disfigurement of other locations on your body, specifically your extremities, anterior trunk, and posterior trunk, and those that are associated with underlying soft tissue damage. Diagnostic code 7802 is specific to scars and disfigurements of other locations on your body, specifically your extremities, anterior trunk, and posterior trunk, and those that are not associated with underlying soft tissue damage, meaning the scars or disfigurements are superficial and not deep. Diagnostic code 7804 is specific to scars and disfigurements that are unstable or painful, and diagnostic code 7805 covers the scars and disfigurements, and the rating assigned is relative to any disabling effects of the scar. Next, we'll walk through the DBQ. Page 1 is reserved for the examiner to complete based on the request from the VA and the review of relevant evidence in your file. The first part of page 2 is reserved for the diagnosis of scars on your body. The following sections, Section 1, which begins on page 2 and continues through page 5, and Section 2, which begins on page 5 and continues through page 8, begin with a medical history so that you should be prepared to discuss what caused the scar or disfigurement. You could prepare notes and bring those with you to your examination for discussion, or simply hand them to the examiner in support of your claim. Section 1 is specific to examination of the scars on your trunk or extremities, and Section 2 is specific to the scars or disfigurement of the head, face, or neck. Section 3 begins on page 8, and Section 3(1)A of the DBQ is a miscellaneous section addressing whether or not the scar or disfigurement of the head, face, or neck result in limitation of function or limitation of motion. This section must be completed for all scars and disfigurements, regardless of where they are located on the body. If there is a finding of limitation of motion, then the VA examiner is prompted to complete the appropriate musculoskeletal DB. Section 1B addresses any other pertinent physical findings, complications, symptoms, or conditions such as nerve damage or muscle damage. Section 3(2) simply addresses whether or not color photographs were taken, and if so, those photographs must be included with the examination report. Section 3(3) specifically deals with the functional impact of the scar or disfigurement, meaning whether or not it impacts the veteran's ability to work. On to page 9, where section 3.4 provides space for the examiner to add any additional remarks or pertinent information. Section 4 is the space provided for the VA examiner to add contact information, credentials, along with the date and signature. It is important to note that if there is medical evidence showing a functional impairment or impairment of motion, additional disability benefits may be available. It is also notable that if you have an already service-connected condition and the incident or treatments resulted in scarring, disfigurement, or discoloration of your head, face, or neck, you may be entitled to additional ratings. That concludes this video. If you would like more information, just click on the links provided below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our page for more content, resources, and information about your VA disability benefits.